Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's having a nice, relaxing evening after watching the Super Bowl last night. That was a nail biter. I would say that one is going to be talked about for years to come. But I remember other Super Bowls that they said we would talk about for years to come, and I can't remember what those are. All right, we can see that there's still the same I want to say the same prognosis for the markets. We're still moving flat, which isn't terrible because that's still allowing some of the sectors, uh, Super Bowl, um, allows some of the sectors to continue to move strong. But the kind of the qualifying index is the NASDAQ. You can see it's in a slow, steady uptrend. So the important point of all of the indexes is where are they trading compared to the T-line? So we can even see on the transportation index, there's the potential of a cup and handle setup. So what's all this analysis do for us? Uh, Pretty much tells us there's really no change of investor sentiment. Is the Dow a failed scoop pattern? Nah. Uh, it could have been a bearish scoop pattern. So the fact that it didn't break the lower part of it is telling us that there's no downward pressure. And the fact that they haven't really done any pattern breaking the upside yet tells us that there's no great pattern. So I would still suspect that this is what you want to glean from this type of analysis. And here's one of the important aspects of using the visuals of candlestick signals is most people look at it that the NASDAQ was down on the day. We can look at it on the basis that not only or that it opened lower and there was buying after the opening. So even though the market or the NASDAQ was down, um, it's showing that there's still buying going on. It just happened to be that they started lower today. So that's kind of the advantage we get when we're analyzing the overall trend of the market. There's we can see that there is no direction as far as crude oil. So that means the crude oil sector is probably out of the limelight right now. So you don't want to be trading crude oil stocks. Gold, on the other hand, has a very nice pattern to it. This is February gold. And you can see where they bounced, right smack dab off the 50. So if you kind of know your pattern expectations, which is if they break through a resistance level, what do they usually do? They come back and test it, see if it's going to be acting as support. In this case, we can see immediately because of the doji and then bullish confirmation the next day that yes, it's acting as support. So where's our next logical target? The next resistance level, the 200. So that means that's a good sector to be in the gold sector. And I don't have an ETF for the biotechs other than Labu. Labu tells us this sector is starting to build up steam. Is there anything significant about this uptrend? If we break it down, there's a big bullish engulfing. And we're in a 45 degree. Is there anything else significant? Pretty much. If you take your trend analysis, say, all right, here's kind of your downtrend. Oops. Here's kind of your uptrend. So what do we got going on here? We got a big wedge formation. And what happened over here? They broke out the top of the wedge formation. That tells us we're going to have, with a breakout, there's a new dynamic in this this chart. And if this chart is telling us it's kind of the accumulative assessment of the biotechs, that tells us we want to be looking at biotechs. Why is there a green candle on the NASDAQ instead of a red candle? Lou, that's exactly why you're here. So today was a down day, Bah. That's the type of thing we want to point out. The NASDAQ was down, and what forms our candles? Remember, a green candle is formed when it opens here and closes here. A red candle opens here and closes here. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have an up day or a down day. So what happened over here? They opened it here, and they closed it here. They closed it above where they opened. That causes a green candle. So what does that tell us when we're doing our analysis? Well, everybody else says, well, the NASDAQ is down 3 on the day, and we're looking at it on the basis that they were buying. There was buyers in here after they opened it today. So that gives us a completely different perspective as far as the strength or the turnover, what do I want to say, the direction of the market. That even though the market was down, this green candle is based upon where it opens and where it closes. This is what we call positive trading for NASDAQ, or being down from yesterday's. Yeah, it's basically telling us we're not down on the day, or this isn't a bearish day because we're down. We can see there was still buying going on. Yeah, so it's still, no, that's not a bullish Harami, really. A bullish Harami is obviously going to occur down here. This is a bullish Harami where you have a dark candle and the next day opens and closes within that day. This is just telling us they opened the market lower today, and then during the day they were trading above where they opened. When you can buy on positive trading tomorrow. Yeah, but that's so when this opened lower today, that still, yeah, didn't tell us we were positive trading. We're just positive trading. What the message was they weren't selling off this market today. So that would tell me, all right, they're not selling off. If I had a situation, and did we have a situation? Let's go back to Labu. That didn't quite do it. But let's do this. Let's say this was today. Yeah, that you could be buying. This one's telling me, I can be buying, but I don't need to just yet. Now, what happens if it opens positive tomorrow? We go back to our very simple rule of the doji, move the direction how they open it after a doji. So the important factor in what we were displaying here on the, especially the NASDAQ, is that this was not a bearish day, even though it was down. They were still buying today. Just happened to be that they opened the market lower. Okay, what else do we got? Oh, so over in the futures area, the only thing that we've been really trading right now is lean hogs. And we bought lean hogs when it broke out through the $68 level right there. And I'll probably put out a notice to the futures traders that we now want to move our stop. We moved our stop up to 69, the top of this, or the close of this trade. Now we'll probably move it up to today's open because we're in the overbought area. And why were we buying this? Let's close out all of these. We've got a wave one, kind of a rounding bottom, wave two, and when it broke out through here, that told us we were in wave three. Nothing here on the live cattle. So you can see what would have been more compelling is we had a big long-legged doji right here off the 50, bullish confirmation, but what was our final confirmation? A close above the T-line, which they didn't do. So that still shows us there's weakness. Still shows us they might come back again to the 50. So it's not really confirming to be buying. So we want to have as many indicators as we can. So here's the US dollar. It's in the oversold area. It's had a good run to the upside for a while. So is this significant? Well, it looks like it's trying to bottom out. We've got some buy signals in here, but we haven't had a close above the T-line. So what other things can we put on our charts to see whether it's relevant to be watching for buy signals here? Well, we can go over here and put our Fibonacci retracement numbers on. So if we go to the exact top, starting from the exact bottom, we're right here at the 38% retracements. It's trading right smack dab on the 38.2% retracement level. So that might be significant, especially if they start opening positive or trading positive tomorrow. That would be, if you were trading the dollar, a good place to start buying the dollar. You make money on lean hogs. When a farmer thinks they're too fat and cuts them on feed to produce them, cheaper to produce. No, I don't know why they call them lean hogs. I think it's just the amount of fat that's in them. It's kind of that oxymoron, like jumbo shrimp. So anyways, you can put other indicators on here to see what everybody else might be watching. So this is why I usually put out all the kind of the move. Rid of this. Move Fibonacci. The more we can put on this chart, again, our number, Don, it will still be disabled. After we close out tonight, I'll probably shut down the room and then open it right back up, and that should activate the private message. Something goofed up over the weekend. So again, the more pieces of evidence put on the as far as our analysis, the higher the probability that we're seeing reversals at the appropriate places. TYAH, the bonds. You can see what's happening to the bonds where you got a J-hook pattern. So you might be ready to buy bonds. Oh, and I didn't check coffee. It's the only one I didn't check. Coffee is right now back here to the 50. Came up through the 50 and it's right trading just below the 50. So watch to see if this is a retracement. Same scenario. Everything that we could put on here that would add to our credibility is where the reversal might be. Nothing there yet. It's not at the 38% retracement. It's not at the 50% retracement. It's not at the 62% retracement. Now, if we saw a bullish Harami forming tomorrow, make this bigger, and that bullish Harami was doing it right here at the 50 and right here at the 50% retracement, yeah, that gives us some more credibility as why it might be reversing at that point. The grains, Pat, there's just nothing in the grains right now that's really all that exciting. So, yeah, just not anything. That's soybeans, obviously, and this is wheat. There's just not enough movement to be trading the grains at this point. See, Pink, yeah, it's being recorded. Yeah, sometimes you get a echo. Just have to log off and log right back on. And don't worry about missing too much. We just keep talking and talking and talking. So whatever you miss is just a wee little percentage of what we're looking at. We are going to be doing, whoops. Why do I have this? That's because I just typed in the wrong symbol. We're going to be starting our emotions trading training session on Wednesday. We'll be starting. We've done money management, but we're going to go into more detail. But this is the type of thing that we want to have everybody kind of acclimated to as far as their own emotions. This is a perfect left-right combo right here off the 50. The next day they gap it open. You can be buying it. But what was the final criteria? It came back down and it closed back below the T-line. So in the old days, I would say, oh, I'll hang on to it as long as it's moving in the right direction. But if it opens lower tomorrow, what's that telling us? It's telling us that they didn't get above the T-line, close it out. A lot of people have a hard time controlling their emotions and closing out a trade that's not working. I was always like that. If I had something and it started pulling back, when it got back down here, I'd say, dang, Jiminy Christmas, why didn't I close it up here? Well, now at least we have a playing field to show us where positive or where we should be staying in a positive trade and where we should be getting back out of a more of a bad trade. On emotion trading, will you be discussing the emotions we have when we follow the rules, still lose money? Yes, because if you follow the rules, you're going to lose money sometimes. But the rules were established because whatever that trade setup was based upon the probabilities working the majority of the time. Oh, Bob. I don't know. Let's see. This is members only tonight. Oops, now I've lost everything. Jim, you want to type in Abe's email address? If you still want to sign up, get with Abe. He'll get you signed up. Let's see. A good trade is following all the rules all the time, even if it isn't profitable. Well, if it isn't profitable, then it's probably not doing what the chart pattern told us we should be doing. So on this one, ARTX, yes, if you didn't close it out, if you bought it up here and didn't close it out here, you've only got one thing to do tomorrow. That is, you have to see it open positive and trade positive. If it opens lower, what's it tell us about the strength of this move, that it didn't work? So that's where on day one, we set up our money management, and when you get done with the 5 or 6 sessions, I think we've got 3 one-hour sessions. And then the last session will probably be a 3 or 4 hour session on a Saturday, putting everything together. John, hold on to the individual ones until let me start running through. So usually what we do on Monday nights with members is we go through the ones that we've already recommended and show why. So for example, we can see that our recommendation on AMD was based upon, had a nice up move until we had the big bearish engulfing signal, and then pulled back, and then did a kicker type signal. And what did it tell us on that kicker signal? It told us they weren't going to go through the 50. David, yes. Probabilities 1 and 2, where is the market conditions? So sometimes you can have a good buy signal, but the market's going the wrong way. That buy signal may not follow through the next day. So this is why I tell a lot of people say, well, should we be buying AMD here? No, that's not a good buy. We're getting up toward the overbought area. The buy was somewhere in here or even here. And that's what we want. That's what your eyes should be getting accustomed to. That's why we go through chart after chart after chart, just so that you can start recognizing where the places were to buy. Now, look at everything that happened here. First of all, we can see it was supporting on the 50. Secondly, we can see there was a gap up breakout of this little downtrending channel with a kicker type signal off the 50 above the T line, and it was still moving strong. And what did it do today? Kind of a doji sandwich. And where did it do the doji sandwich? Right here where it topped out before. So what did that tell us? That we could probably pretty much, see if I can do this. So we can kind of calculate where we want to start watching to take profits. It might be here. It might be here. Somewhere up here is when we start looking to take profits, which would kind of coincide with the stochastics getting up here in the overbought area. So there's probably some more upside. The only thing we have to be careful of is whether we'll go straight up there or whether we get some backing and filling, because what's our other criteria? The further away you move from the T-line, the higher the probability it's going to come back and test T-line. Okay, so let's get rid of those. So, let's see, and this is kind of the follow-through. When we did our analysis of gold, that's not the one we want. We can see what type of pattern was setting up. A J-hook pattern bouncing off the 50. So February gold looks like it's heading up here to the 200-day moving average. So if that's the case, more than likely, stocks in the gold sector, and this is the Nugget, the 3 ETF, more than likely could be heading up to this area. And why is it doing it? Because it looks like it has a J-hook pattern. So while we're there, yes, JNUG has the same pattern setup. More than likely, it's heading up based upon this little scoop type pattern, taking you up to the 200. So what we want to do is, again, improve our probabilities of being in the right place at the right time. So if we can understand that the yes, you might be too late on the golds, because they were probably better off coming out of the pattern, except if you were buying on the trading, to be buying on the basis that this is your expected target. So if you were buying something like Nugget or JNUG tomorrow, you'd be a little bit more diligent. Now, I wouldn't be so much afraid to be buying Nugget, because I would think that this wave and this wave should kind of equate up here. However, if you're buying up here, obviously it's a little bit more risky than if you were buying 10% lower. But you can see what the pattern is. So there's a lot of times people will say, well, should I be buying now? The answer on something like this is no. The place to be buying was here, or the place to be buying was here. And this is what we want to get you away from. In the room, you always get a lot of people saying, yeah, I'm really making good money on this one. This one looks great. And everybody's saying, well, should I be buying? No. What you want to learn is this is what you're looking for, something like this, where a J-hook is starting. This tells you you're in a situation where you're probably now looking for profit taking instead of buying. So what we're trying to do is be able to recognize the patterns and get ready for that move instead of trying to jump in when that move is in progress. I wouldn't say DVMT is exuberant yet. Which one? PA. That might be more the exuberance. You're in the overbought area. And where do most people buy? They buy exuberantly at the top. And what type of signal did they do? Bah humbug. Get a doji up here. That would give me a lot more warning that if my stochastics are up here, I'm at the end of an uptrend, or I'm at an uptrend and now I've had a gap up in the overbought condition. Remember our simple rules for using gaps? If you see a gap up in the overbought condition, start watching for sell signal. I would put my stop at today's low. If this opened lower and came down through there, what's that telling us? That's probably that the sellers are taking control. And Goldman upgraded it today. One of the things that you're going to find, and that I found years ago, is you don't listen to people like Kramer and all these gurus, or even the analysts at these major firms, because they're just like anybody else. They're human, and they're usually ones that are probably instigating buying at the top. Yeah, so definitely watch for a sell signal based upon what the pattern is telling you. Now, if it opens positive and trades positive, you stay long. But we can already see that wave 1 and wave 3 are pretty much the same. That's telling us we want to be ready to start taking some profits soon. So we've got a lot that are in these steady eddy uptrends. And this is part of the money management that we're going to be going through, is if you can catch on to some of these where they're in a steady uptrend above the T-line, steady uptrend above the T-line, ELGX, steady uptrend above the T-line. If you've got 10 positions on and 6 or 7 of them are nice steady eddies, you only have one criteria for selling them. And that is seeing a sell signal and a close below the T-line. So what does that do as far as your mental energy? Well, if you've got 6 out of your 10 that don't need any more analysis other than waiting to see when the sell signal occurs, that means you can spend more time analyzing the 4 that might need better or more analysis. So something like this, where we've got a nice pattern set up, now we're moving absolutely sideways. So if this is one of my 10 positions, I'm spending more time to say, all right, what's my calculation here? What's my analysis? Moving sideways. Stochastics in the overbought moving sideways. Where could it go from here? It could either go up, down, or sideways. So if I'm long, I'm spending a little bit more time to say, all right, I want to put a sell stop just below today's low, which was 790. I'm going to put my sell stop at 788 because if it moves in this direction, that tells me what this was telling me, that they were getting ready to reverse it. On the other hand, if you pop it in this direction, I know I'm all right. I continue my uptrend. Or if tomorrow they close it as another doji, I don't know whether they're going this way, or this way, close out the position, but we know what would happen if they went positive from here, probably another leg up. So you close it out, give up maybe 7, 10, 12 cents, put a buy stop up here. If it came up through that, breaking out through this resistance level, that means you're back in the right direction again. So that type of trading eliminates the risk factor of holding on to something that might go this way or this way. You close it out, and if it goes this way, all right, so you missed out on 8, 10, 12 cents, but you weren't buying it for 8, 10, 12 cents. You were buying on the basis the next move could be another 1.5. So you're just kind of buying insurance, not so much anticipating an uptrend, but recognize what type of patterns we have. A J-hook pattern, another potential J-hook pattern, even though this one's up, sideways up. So this type of analysis just provides you with strategies that take out the fear factor or the trying to eliminate as much risk factor as possible. Can you use engulfing harami, evening Morningstar patterns, etc., when you are in a sideways or confirmed trend for entries and not just tops and bottoms? JC, yes, some of them are good patterns. For example, which one was it? Oh, over here. Well, there's kind of your best friend. I was trying to find something that showed at the end of a flat trading a Morningstar signal, which is gives you kind of a scoop type pattern. Peter, yes, the T-line is an important factor, but if you've got something where your probabilities are starting to diminish, I mean, which way is this going to move from here? We don't know. We don't know what's up, down, or this way. So, you know, right now you put your safety stop just below the T-line because if it started trading in this direction, more than likely they've made their decision after this indecisive sideways trading of which way they're going to go. What's the worst case scenario? You stop out, comes down, comes back up. You can always buy back. Remember, we're not trying to maximize our profitability on every trade. We're trying to maximize our probabilities on every trade so that our profitability is being maximized in our account. All right, what else we got here? We recommend an IONS today because you did have your little hammer, Dragonfly Doji, left-right combo, little Morningstar signal. But if it broke through the 50, what is it telling us? It's telling us that this downtrending channel has been breached with strong buy signals, stochastics coming up. If they break through the 50, where do you think our next likely target is? Well, right here is one, and then probably up in here is the second one. So anytime, why did we recommend it knowing 50 is right there? Because if it opened positive based upon everything moving up, if it broke through the 50, we wanted to be buying. And so this is still a good trade. If it opens positive tomorrow, you want to be buying. When you sell, how long do you keep checking on the stock? If I sell something, I usually keep it on my list for the next 2, 3, 4 days to see if it's going to do another pattern to the upside. After 4 days, If it was trading like this, yeah, I'd take it off, wait for the next buy signal to occur. Let's see, what else we got here? Oops, I've moved things around. This is one that I kind of use as that same example. Or notice how we're moving sideways. What's that tell us about our probabilities right here? We don't know whether it's going to go up, down, or sideways. Now, what was our probabilities here? If it broke through this downtrending channel, and how did it do it? With a doji gap up? What did that tell us about this resistance level? It's probably not going to be a resistance. There's a new dynamic in this stock. Where did our probabilities start getting dismal or less? When we got up here in the overbought condition, notice what happened when they got up here. Where did the exuberant buying come in? In the overbought area, and they gapped it up. That's when we start looking for our sell signals. When do you put your stops in? Are they enforced overnight, after market? Usually, if I'm buying and I've gotten up into the overbought area, I'll start putting my stop at the previous day's open during the day, that if it came back down through that level. So that's why we were kind of saying today that when AMD was trading positive, we had our stop right here because we were expecting it to move up because we weren't quite in the overbought area yet. But if it turned around and came back down through this level, what would it be forming? A doji slash shooting star, and where would it trade? Back into this range. Why was this big day important? Because this broke out of this resistance level. If they went out and came back down into the trading range, what did that tell us about the force of our trade? It was pretty well gone at that point. Some of the biggies that we're following. NVIDIA is another one where as long as it stays above the T-line, what can you analyze about this trend? Pretty much that you've got kind of a trend channel coming up through here. So where's our next likely target? You could move up, first of all, test this level, which gives you another 5 or 6 points, or back up to the top of this trend channel. So will it get there? Who knows? At least that's what it looks like. That's our trend analysis. What is our most important factor, though, when we're seeing it up here? We stay long until we see a confirmed sell signal. The sell signal, buy and sell signals are the primary factors for getting in and out of a position. Everything else is kind of confirming of what everybody else is watching. Now what am we? Oh, Amazon. So a lot of people ask, what do we do on something like this? If you were buying on the basis, if this had good patterns, I mean, that was the basis for buying. As soon as they broke that pattern, close it out. Move your money to someplace else. Because once it does that, what does that tell us about the investor sentiment of this trend? It's completely different. Now, can it come back up? Sure. But that's not the reason we were holding this in the first place. Close it out. I think, which was the other one? No. There was another one. SGYP. Yes. So people were owning this one because it had a nice J-hook type pattern coming off the Morningstar signal. And then it gapped down. That told us get out of it because even if it comes back up, it's not going to have a pattern that we can recognize or analyze fairly accurately. FEYE, same scenario. If you were owning this because it was trying to break out to the upside, down here you don't know what it's going to do. So if you're looking at a chart, same scenario. We were owning this one because of the fry pan bottom. And when they gapped it down, what that tells us about the fry pan bottom? It wasn't there anymore. Close it out and move on to something else. When I say close it out and move on to something else, I mean, that's a tough nut to crack most of the time. Just because, man, don't want to take that loss. Bought right in here, and now I had a profit. So your mind tells you every reason why you shouldn't get out, because that's not what was supposed to happen. So now you have to step back, and this is one of the hardest parts that I had to learn in my investing, that even though you're buying based upon the probabilities in your favor, you got to remember the term probabilities. Everything's not going to work. And what I've discovered is when you get out of something or something's not working, get out of it and go find something that is working, because what happens is we get tied to the trade. We want this trade to make up our losses. Well, that might not be the place to make up your loss for a long time. You have to go and find something that has a chart that's telling you, all right, buy this. Because what happens is, if you're waiting for something to come back, this may not be the best place to have your money at this point. You hold through earnings. On GPro, Gary, I own some options, and I sold half of them up here. So I doubled my money on half and then lost half, so I broke even. So that was just because I knew earnings were coming out the next day. So I will kind of modify my trading going into earnings. With trailing stops, the loss shouldn't be that dramatic. Yeah, but you didn't have anything you could do here. It closed right here, and the next day it opened down here. So you would have stopped out down here. So anytime I see a situation where I should get out, I get out immediately, because two things happen when you don't get out immediately. One, you've got your money tied up where you could be taking it and finding something like this has the potential of heading up somewhere. And two, you got 10 positions on. I can bet you dime to donuts you're going to spend 95% of your time watching this trade and paying very little attention to the other ones, because you're trying to figure out what to do, whether it's going to come back up, let you out. I hate to sell now because what if it turns right around and comes back up, blah, blah, blah. At that point, you take your money and you go find something that you see has much stronger probabilities of getting some of your money back. Now, and that's why one of the reasons when we go into our money management, I have usually around 10 positions on. Because if this one whacked me, all right, that was one of my 10 positions. That loss may have been offset by hopefully 6 or 7 of my other positions working well, producing profits that kind of offset that loss. I would have sold at the bearish Harami at the upper Bollinger Band and over plot stochastics. I don't see a bearish Harami. Up here. Okay, some of the other biggies. Tesla, nice J-hook pattern. Again, if you take a look at the charts, they all work very simply. Notice what it did when it gapped up through the resistance level, came back and see if it's going to act as support. J-hook pattern. Selling off, where did it sell off to? Right back to the T-line. Where did it close? Never closed below the T-line. I gained a lot of my education by going back and just studying the charts. Now, this was even before the T-line showed up. But here's Netflix. Hasn't really been doing very much, but it really hasn't been, wouldn't be trading Netflix until it breaks one way or the other. And then Apple, gap up. Now, remember, if they gap it up in the overbought position, that's time to start looking for sell signals. Except if they did it at an important level, like at a breakout of a pattern or a resistance level, that's a different story. That tells you a new dynamic has occurred. So this gap up, breaking through this level, tells a different story versus something like that gapped up after a steady uptrend. There's no pattern breakout. That's just kind of exuberant buying at the top. Okay, we did the biggies. So let's take a look at the few that look good during the day. So here's Beat. And it's trading right here at the breakout levels. Backed off a little bit today in the overbought area. So what's that tell us? Well, if they open this lower, they haven't broken out. So we watch to see if it does a cup and handle. On the other hand, if they gap this up and start trading it positive, what's that tell us about our breakout level? Fry pan bottom breakout you can be buying. Even though your stochastics are up here in the overbought area. Just always remember, you're looking for your buy signals when your stochastics are down near the oversold area. You're looking for your breakout of a pattern usually when your stochastics are in the overbought area. Yeah, the new dynamic on Apple was the earnings. So I told you that breakout was a new investor sentiment in that stock. CNAT, another one that you want to take a look at because what did today's positive trading tell you? Stochastics coming up out of the oversold area. You can see the downtrend has been broken. You can see that the T-line has been breached. Another one that has a slow curve. This is RSO. This is this a REIT? I knew this was less active, but you can see the slow curve. You can see the kind of the wedge. Now it's breaking out through the 50. You can be buying this one. I wouldn't be buying it based on a trade, but if it pays a good dividend yield, it's a good looking chart. And GLBS, because of the big, there's kind of our little inverted hammer gravestone doji gap up. You can be buying this one on positive trading. And Eames, J-hook pattern. This is your classic. Your fry pan bottom. What do you expect coming out of a fry pan bottom? A strong price move. Strong price move, a little pullback. What do you expect for a J-hook pattern? A strong price move. Get ready to buy this one. If this is wave one, wave three will be the same magnitude. For shorts, would a sorting breakout pattern occur with stock showing undersold, usually overbought? Yeah, opposite of the longs. So you're looking for sell signals. The reason I haven't been pushing any shorts right now is with the strength of the market continuing to head up. You probably want to go with the flow. So here's workday. You can see how this J-hook pattern is setting up with a little doji gap up. Definitely be a buyer of this one on positive trading because this 20-point move here means your next 20-point move to the upside. This is the right LGX. Another J-hook pattern, breakout. Probably has more upside. Same magnitude as this move right here. So ZGNX. This is the type of thing we want to kind of get prepared for. You can see what's happened. We had a bullish Harami, gap up through the T-line, big move today. Now notice what happened by the end of the day. They sold it off. Profit taking, which tells us if they open this positive tomorrow and start trading positive, the profit taking is over. We're still looking for more upside. And why? Because they've broken this downtrending channel, the T-line, and look where they're buying. Right at the same level they did a buy signal over here and started up. So if people can see this is where they were buying before, this is where they're buying again. If this is where it topped out, that's where your potential target could be the next time. So GLBS, we closed out last week. So is this what you mean to jump back in since the pattern flip? Yes. Just a very simple trading strategy. You close it out when it's time to get out, and you get back in when it's time to get back in. When we closed it out, we didn't know whether they're going to bring it right back down here again. But right now it's showing there's a buy signal. That would tell me, yep, the buyers are back. So if you've sold here and bought back here, all right, that was just the insurance that you weren't holding on to something that was coming all the way back down here. Yeah, a lot of the mining stocks have good buy signals. And I'm trying to think of some. Newmont Mining broke out nicely today. That's the only one I can think of. I'll think of some more. PGNX. Notice your bullish engulfing signal. And now today, what did they do at the breakout level today? They gapped through that level. What do we look for tomorrow? What's our simple rule of the doji? It's going to move in the direction of how they open it. So that's if you see this open positive tomorrow, you can be buying. Because now you have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 starting with a strong breakout. Yeah, hold on to your individual ones until I tell Jim to do the double line. And ITCI, you can see the fry pan bottom setting up. So if you're buying tomorrow, obviously your first resistance level is here at the 50. If they break through the 50, where's your next likely target? Up here in this trend area somewhere. Okay. Yeah, there are good. Whoops. Here's Goro as far as a gold stock. Notice what it did at the resistance level. Gapped up through. Wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. Blue is one of the biotechs that, again, opened lower and closed higher. Even though it closed down on the day, what did it tell us about the buyers and sellers? It told us they were selling it on the open. Before the end of the day, they were still buying. I'd still be a buyer of this one if it broke out to this level, because that tells you this 35-point move from here takes you up to about 110. And for the big players, this is a toughie. This one's hard to do because they must be on a pre-split basis. But your chart on this one starting to look good again, except you can see what can happen on the volatility of this one. So if you're playing this one on positive trading tomorrow, use your 10-minute chart because more than likely it's, there was, I forget how many times it split, 4 for 1, 16 for 1, or 1 for 16 the other way. So This one can really move around with great speed. So that's why if you're trading it, you use your 10-minute chart, and you definitely, if it's moving in the right direction, put a stop in some places to protect what you got. So there's a left-right combo. There's your bullish engulfing hammer type signals. You could still be a buyer of this one, anticipating if this is wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. BVN, another gold or a mining stock that broke through this level, wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. ACAD, this one was to kind of illustrate that when they break out through a resistance level, you got upside. Break through a resistance level, you got upside. And when you have upside in progress, now the kind of the protection is find a place where it shouldn't trade if you're in an uptrend. At this point, I would use this area right here. If they could come back down through that area, where are they likely coming back to? Back down to test the T-line. Fastenal broke this downtrending channel. Nice pop. Broke this little downtrending channel. Look for another pop in here. And VRNS, J-hook pattern setting up. So if this is a about a 6-point move, look for it to move up into about the $35, $36 range. So where can I find more about the left-right combo? I think we've got videos in the product and service area on the left-right combo. But very simply, the left-right combo, don't see one here, but it's a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal. And Primo Water, another one that broke this obvious resistance level. So once these start moving, remember when it broke this level, notice how it did it. Did it with a little gap up, kind of a doji sandwich breakout. All you can do right now is stay long until you sell signal. Yeah, let me see if I can find a, we'll find a, I'll point out a left-right combo as we go through here. DRG is a, yeah, that's kind of a left-right. Notice I had a doji, then a big bullish engulfing signal. Let's see. All right. I guess that's about all I got tonight. So we're still hanging with the gold stocks. They all have potential of going up to the 200. So that's kind of the target area that you want to look for. Going to be the target? Who knows? That looks like the target. So I'd watch to see what it does if and when it gets there. When it does get there, just watch a little bit more diligently to see what is happening at the target that everybody else is watching. Yeah, DRD, that's kind of a belt hold, bullish engulfing. And a belt hold is representative of the fact that they gapped it way down below the trading range and brought it right back up into the trading range, which basically tells you they took out a lot of sellers down here. All right, so with that, is there any general questions on candlesticks? Again, if you need to sign up for the training session, it's about 5 or 6 sessions on controlling your emotions. And it's it kind of solidifies what the what the signals are telling you. The best book I would use is Profitable Candlestick or High Profit Candlestick Patterns. That's the meaty one. Lee, to draw a trend line doesn't really matter. All you want to do is kind of use where the trading was. So if I was drawing a trend line through here, I'd probably just kind of go like this because that's where most of the trading was. And so if this got up here to near this level, didn't matter whether you drew it like this or drew it like this. You just want to see what's happening once you get there. So on something like you can just see there's tops in here, whether you want to call them the bodies or the tails. It's just pretty obvious. The trading kind of fizzled out. Whoops. Somewhere in this area. And when they gapped it through, that told you there was a new dynamic. And we did that with, I don't know whether it was NVIDIA this time. Oh, we did it with NVIDIA over here. You can see how when it kind of broke through this level, gave us another trade. Okay, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And in 4.1 seconds, do the next double line. OREX came out of this little fry pan bottom. Now notice what it did. Did some profit taking today. So what you want to do tomorrow is if it opens positive, if you want to trade this one, expect a doji sandwich. Again, this type of move would take you up somewhere in this range. AVID, all you can do on this one is stay long as it stays above the T line. Wriggle, scoop type pattern. Notice the message. The message is they gapped it up, profit taking, the profit taking's over. Now you have a handle and a scoop. Look for a slingshot effect coming out the other side. Clovis, that one you want to get ready to go short. Notice you had a doji gap down and then confirmation. I would suspect they could bring this all the way back down to the 50. So I'd be shorting this one on weakness. And Radian, just stay long. It's now above this level. And how did they get there? They gapped it up to that level. Look for at least a 45 degree to come off of here. AMAT, just nice steady uptrend. You stay with it. PGNX, get ready to buy this one on positive trading tomorrow. And MUX, J-hook pattern, stay long on this one. Nordic, nothing here of any great consequence yet. If you like it, I would be a buyer if it came up through the 50, confirming this gap up. Then you just have to be conscious of this little downtrending channel. So it's not one of your best looking charts because it's still in that drifting sideways downtrend. Halo, that's not a great looking chart either. If you're long, you stay long to see if it can get back up to this level. You had the bullish engulfing. So right now, all you kind of do is stay long on this one. How do you interpret a chart like Gale? Big kicker on the open, right at the 50, but it just kept nosediving all day. It's just below the T line. This is one where, whoops, if you see it gap up to a resistance level, flip to your 10-minute chart or even your 5-minute chart. So if I saw it doing something like this, now if I was watching it and I saw it open positive and start trading positive, I guess it opened here and traded positive and got in. As I saw it weakening, I might come back out and then wait to see what it did at the T line. Now, obviously, on something like this, apparently that was a big percentage move, up 100%. I'd give it a little bit more time. And I'd want to see what it did, see if it stayed up here solid. Notice what it did last time. It shot up, came right back down again. So if you bought this one today, it better open positive and start trading positive immediately, or you want to be out of it. Cairo was in kind of a nice fry pan bottom. You just stay long on this one. Now you're starting to see some selling. I'd put a sell stop probably right below this open. If it came down through there and had started forming another dark candle, that tells me the profit taking is in progress. Box, we bought some of this the other day when it hit the 1750, which meant it broke out through this level. We're still long, but now it looks less like a breakout versus maybe just a 45 degree from here. Goldman, we don't trade this one, but it's a good indicator that as long as it stays above the T line, the markets are going to hold up pretty well. It's not a great one to trade, though. And Baidu, look how it's broken this downtrending channel. You can be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. I'd be more apt to go after Baidu on the option trade versus Goldman. And IRM, just stay long. Notice where your bobble occurred right here at the 200. Stay long on this one. I wouldn't want to see it come back down and trade below the T line. And TRGP, TRGP breaking out through this level on positive trading. You stay long. It's not one of your greatest charts, but if it breaks out, you got a little bit more upside to it. And INFI, just stay long. Broke through the 200, came back, used the 200 as support. I'd be a buyer of this one on strength. Tomorrow, Weibo, another slow curve. Get ready to buy this one on strength. Bison, I thought had a good looking chart today. Yes. Another one you can buy on positive trading, breaking out through this level after your slow curve that supported off the 50. Whoops. EPS, as you can see, is having a hard time getting through the 200. And with it being an institutional trader, there's just nothing there. I'd be someplace else. That's just not a good-looking, even a longer-term chart. I'd be someplace else. Priceline, kind of a J-hook pattern. You can buy on strength using the T-line or buy if it breaks out through that level. AGN, just stay long. Big left-right combo bullish engulfing, broke this downtrending channel. I'd just stay long at this point. Now, same scenario. As long as they can't close this below the T line, you stay with it. ACHN, nice slow curve. Get ready to buy this one on strength if it breaks out through here. Lots of running room, especially up into this area. and CXRX, you can buy this one. Notice how it came back and used the T-line as support. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on strength tomorrow. EXK, I don't know whether I'd be buying it here. If I was long, I'd stay long. That was a good, hefty move today. Stochastics in the overbought area, but it looks like you are in your wave 3. And Cuervo, here's kind of your belt hold signal. Took out some sellers, but notice what they didn't do. They didn't close below the T-line. So if you're long, you stay long. You can still probably be buying this one on strength. We did Goldman. Goldman I wouldn't necessarily be a buyer of, but at least as an indicator, it tells us that the markets aren't going any place right now. Xerox definitely needs to open positive tomorrow. If it opens lower, tells you it's back into this sideways trading range. And BETR, this one, if you didn't close it out today, get ready to close it out on weakness tomorrow. This one has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. If it opens lower, they're coming back to test the 50 again. Click has been in a nice steady eddy uptrend. Look for a 45-degree off of here. Nugget, we did. Nugget is still trying to head for the 200-day moving average. NTCT, big bullish engulfing, broke this downtrending channel. Stay long on this one. They wiped out a lot of sellers right here, which means there's not as many sellers in the way anymore. INSY, nothing yet. It needs to get up through the 50. Just not there yet. POS, we were looking for this one to break out, which it didn't do. So this one we'd still be a buyer of if it comes back up through today's open. That tells me this kind of fry pan bottom bounce off the 50 is still in place. If you own it, it has to open positive and trade positive tomorrow. Sign up but have not gotten the password. Yeah, everybody will get the password by tomorrow night. Micron, just stay long, but it has to open positive. Another one that needs to stay above the T-line has to open positive. Las Vegas Sands, nothing here. I wouldn't be long and I wouldn't be short at this point. Just nothing there, no chart pattern. MPET, get ready to buy this one on positive trading tomorrow, especially if it comes up through today's open, which was 13.35. Put a buy stop at 13.40. That J-hook pattern in progress. You can get ready to short LH. Big kicker signal to the downside. If it opens weaker tomorrow, you can be shorting it. AK Steel, nothing yet. You shouldn't be short anymore, but I wouldn't be long until you see a strong buy signal above the T-line. And Walmart, nothing here. If you're short, you stay short, but that's about all you could do with this one for two reasons. Because it moves so slowly anymore. It just doesn't have a lot of potential profitability. And Twitter, if you're long, you stay long. Notice how it came all the way back down and used the T-line as support today. Zillow, scoop type pattern. You can buy this one on positive trading tomorrow, looking for a slingshot effect to come out, which would probably put you back up into this trajectory up here. Facebook, nothing major here. It had to open positive and trade positive. This would have been one if it opened lower and started trading down and you close it out, you get ready to buy it back if it opens positive tomorrow. We did Apple. Apple's still in this 45 degree. AERI, nothing wrong here. As long as it doesn't close below the T-line, you're still in this fry pan bottom. Very simple rule of the fry pan bottom. You stay long until it closes below the T-line. Uri, I would be out of. There's nothing here. Yeah, there's nothing here. When it gapped back down from the shooting star, there's nothing. CVRR, you should be short, if anything. You definitely should not be long. And Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley is probably the better of the big financials because it's ready to do a doji sandwich breakout off your Morningstar signal. And notice your doji gap up your best friend. I'd be more apt to be buying this one, looking for it to break out of wave 2. Gimmo, nothing. Wouldn't be long or short this one right now. And Target, stay short if you're short. Definitely would not be long until it closes above the T-line. I think we did fast now. Yeah, you can buy this one on Positive Trading. Yeah, that pillow commercial just drives you to drink. Yahoo, if you like Yahoo, you can buy this one on Positive Trading after the bullish engulfing signal right here on the T-line. That would tell me that this trend channel should be taking me back up into this range somewhere. NAC, you needed to stay in as long as it stayed above the T-line today. And PULM, stay long. Sears Holding, stay short. If you're looking to go short, I'd put a sell stop right here below the low. That would tell me you're starting wave 3 to the downside. Costco, you probably want to see this open positive and trade positive to know that you're in a 45 degree off the kicker signal. If it opens lower, it's probably coming back to test the T-line, which means it's not a very powerful uptrend. AutoZone, stay short. If you're short, use the T-line as your stop. Okay, and oops, all right. Last 3, and then we'll start into the sunset. ELGX, just stay long, steady Eddie. I don't think we get Fannie Mae over here. No, it doesn't come up on this one anymore because I think it's on the pink sheets. And Google, nothing here. It wouldn't be long or short. Just not a good trade or a good chart to trade at this point. Okay, what we're still looking for is if they break out through this level, look for the next strong phase to the upside. All right, everybody. I guess we'll call it a night. Everybody have a good evening. We will see you bright and early in the chat rooms tomorrow. We'll see you then.